Hey guys, Pete here. Quick little Twin Peaks update video today. As many of you saw on my social media accounts, I posted that the DVD pre-order is out for what used to be called Twin Peaks Season 3. It's interesting because they put the official artwork out, which was similar to what we had already seen, but now it says Twin Peaks Limited Event Series instead of Season 3 or The Return. We know exactly what extras are on it now. I mentioned some of these in my last video about the DVD set, but we have confirmation on that now and a little bit more of an idea of what's on there. Before I jump into that, though, I want to mention that there was actually some Season 4 news this week. Nothing concrete or anything like that, but Mark Frost was interviewed by IndieWire, and they asked him if that was something that was in the works. He said that he hasn't decided if the show will come back for a fourth season, but it is being considered. To quote what he said, Frost said, "I haven't decided yet. I think it's still an open question, and it's one we're looking at, and one that I think Showtime is musing as well." So we already knew that David Lynch hadn't ruled it out. He said it was too early, basically. It would take a long time, but he never said that they weren't going to do it. And he said if that did happen, that fans would have to be patient. We know that it took about 4.5 years to put together what we saw in Season 3, which is what I'm still calling The Return, which is now called the Limited Event Series, because that just isn't very descriptive at all. So that's good news, if not great news. I think that it feels like they may do it. I don't know, I don't know if there's a way to actually separate my enthusiasm for the series without just, looking at it with rose-colored glasses or whatever. But the fact that Lynch didn't say no, Showtime definitely said they were interested in working with Lynch more. Now Mark Frost saying that he hasn't decided and that Showtime's talking about it or thinking about it is all good news. So the DVD is coming out. I'll have the pre-order link in the description of this video. It'd be great if you clicked on my link before you ordered it because that helps me out some. What are we actually going to get? Well, we know we're getting all 18 episodes of this last season. I talked about in the last video about the 10 short films that were released. The names were released by the rating company in Britain. I won't read all the names again, but they are being directed by a guy named Jason S. He's actually someone who shot a lot of the footage for David Lynch, The Art of Life. And we did get one piece of one of the clips, and it's basically behind the scenes. David Lynch is setting up the scene that's in the motel in the alternate dimension with Diane and Coop. It's really fun to watch because of, they're talking about, he's having them do a kissing scene and, they're talking about Blue Velvet and how long ago that was and everything. So it's pretty interesting. There's not a lot of other details about what's going to be in these other clips, but this is the one that was titled The Man with the Gray Elevated Hair, which was obviously probably about David Lynch, so this is him setting up a scene, and I don't know if that gives us any more of an idea of what we will see in the other clips, but my favorite part of it is that you heard him talking to them, and he calls Kyle Kale, and he calls Diane Tidbit. Those are things that I had heard that he called them, but had never really heard him say it out loud, so that's kind of good. Beyond those 10 shorts, the full panel from the Comic-Con at 2017 is going to be on there. That's over an hour long. Damon Lindelof, who was one of the brains behind the series Lost, was the moderator of that. And the actors who were there are Kyle MacLachlan, Tim Roth, Naomi Watts, Dana Ashbrook, Kimmy Robertson, Matthew Lillard, Everett McGill, James Marshall, and Don Murray. This will also include the introduction that David Lynch did. They've released this already, but he wasn't at Comic-Con, so he made a short film, and that'll be on the DVD as well. There's a 3-part documentary. It's put together by Showtime. It's called Twin Peaks: The Phenomenon. Those are about 5 minutes each, roughly. And there's also a behind-the-scenes photo gallery. You'll be able to see all 18 variations of the Rancho Rose Productions screen indent there. There's a collection of David Lynch-produced Twin Peaks promos. There's 7 of those. I mentioned Behind the Red Curtain in my last video, but I didn't really understand what it was. There was news that it was season 1 stuff. It's actually 2 featurettes that are about a half an hour apiece that were shot by Richard Bamer on the Red Room set. That's the actor who plays Ben Horn. I don't know anything more about those at this time, but that sounds kind of good. Everything before that, these 2 featurettes, which are called Behind the Red Curtain and I Had Bad Milk in Darradun, everything that I mentioned before that are on the DVD. This is actually a Blu-ray exclusive. And then there's another Blu-ray exclusive called A Very Lovely Dream, 1 Week in Twin Peaks. And this is a half an hour little featurette. And that's from locations in Washington State where they shot outdoors in the first weeks of this in 2015, but also way back when they did the original pilot. So it's basically packed with extra stuff. The Blu-ray's $64.99 in the US for US customers, and the DVD is $53.99. Like I said, I'll have a link in the description that you can click on to check it out. It wasn't available for pre-order in Europe originally, but it is now. So if you haven't checked back, you can get that now. And one other thing about when you pre-order on Amazon, if the price drops, you don't get screwed. They actually change it for you. So it makes a lot of sense to pre-order as soon as possible, because then you're sure that if the price goes up, you have the lowest price. But if the price goes down, you don't lose anything either. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please think about signing up over on Patreon if you're following my Season 1 rewatch, or if you like the other shows I do. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn on notifications by clicking on the little bell there so you know when the next video comes out. Follow me on Twitter and my other social media accounts so that you can interact with me in real time. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you soon.